Welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Carol. How are you doing? I hope you've been enjoying this beautiful weather we've had these last couple of days. Been able to get outside after school. Well, today's lesson is all about sharing. So, let me ask you a few questions before we get started. Who do you like to give gifts to? Are there any special gifts that you've made and given to someone? How does that make you feel to give someone a gift? Were they easy to give to? What gifts have you been waiting to give? And what would you like to give as a gift? You know, there's different types of gifts we can give. I mean, we can make a craft. Monday is Valentine's Day, so we can make Valentines and give it to our family and our friends. But there's other gifts we can do as well. Perhaps it's helping with chores around the house, or doing something outside in the yard to help clean up. Those are types of gifts as well. So there's many ways that we can give gifts. And today's story is called Loaves and Fishes. And the affirmation is, when I share, happiness grows. And I'm going to say that 2 more times, and I hope you'll join in with me. When I share, happiness grows. When I share, happiness grows. I know that's true for me. When I give gifts, it just makes me so happy. Well, today's lesson is about Jesus. Loaves and fishes. Many people walked a great distance over the hills to see Jesus. A young girl named Anna and her mother had left their home before the sun was up. As she stood on the hill where Jesus was teaching, Anna looked all around and could see people in every direction. It was like being in a sea of people. Anna felt lucky to be close enough to see Jesus. And she could hear his voice clearly and see his eyes. Anna had never before seen eyes that held so much love. She felt her stomach growl with hunger. It had been a long day of walking. Anna looked over at the basket of food sitting next to her mother on the grass. There were fresh loaves of barley bread and 2 little fish Anna had caught in that basket. Maybe her mother would offer her dinner soon. Anna knew she shouldn't ask. The little basket was all they had until they went home again. She didn't know when that might be. As she was thinking about food, Anna suddenly realized the man called Philip was talking with Jesus about food too. Anna could hear the concern in Philip's voice as he said, "Even if we could buy bread out here somewhere, there's not enough money to feed all those people." Anna knew that was true. Jesus was poor like most of the people here. He probably didn't have enough food for himself, and he certainly couldn't take care of a huge crowd like this. Anna looked at the basket that held her dinner. There was just enough in there for her mother and herself. That wouldn't be any help. But Anna knew she couldn't sit and eat dinner while Jesus and all the others went hungry. She ran across the grass to her mother and grabbed the basket. Leaning close to her mother's ear, Anna urgently whispered, "Mother, Jesus needs food to feed all these hungry people. Can we please share the bread and fish you packed for us?" Her mother looked puzzled, and then a bit amused, and then smiling lovingly, she said, "Of course, give the basket to Jesus." Anna quickly carried the basket to one of Jesus' companions and boldly pulled on the man's robe to get his attention. The tall, bearded man looked down at Anna with surprise, but he smiled gently and asked, "What do you need, child?" "We want to share the food in our basket. Could we please tell Jesus that we have some food?" Anna explained eagerly. The man immediately picked up the basket and moved closer to Jesus, where he sat at the high point of the hill. "Master, a young girl has offered her dinner to share. There are 5 loaves and 2 fish in the basket," he announced a bit doubtfully. Anna was suddenly a little embarrassed to hear herself mentioned. Jesus smiled when he heard what the man named Andrew said. He instructed his disciples to reassure the crowd of people and tell everyone to sit on the grass. Then he took the basket from Andrew and offered up a prayer of thanksgiving. Jesus rose from his place and looked over at Anna. Anna saw those eyes of love again and didn't feel a bit hungry. Jesus walked into the sea of people with the basket in his hand, and Anna ran back to her mother's side. After that time, the basket was passed to her mother, who took out enough bread and fish for their dinner. The basket wasn't empty, so she handed it to a man who sat nearby. Anna lost track of the basket as she gratefully ate the good bread and salty fish. She noticed that everyone around her was eating as well. As the people finished their meal, Jesus spoke to them again, and Anna listened to his strong, gentle voice while the sun began to set behind the hills. The companions piled up baskets of leftover bread and fish at their teacher's feet. Anna could count 12 baskets, all full of broken loaves of barley bread and pieces of little fish like the ones she had caught. Anna couldn't figure it out. Did Jesus feed all the people out of her basket? Did others share their food so there was enough to feed everyone? She decided she didn't want to think about it too hard. Her stomach was full, but her heart was even more full of happiness. Now, why do you think Anna shared her food, even though she only had a little bit? How do you think everyone got enough to eat? And why was Anna so happy at the end of the story, even though she wasn't praised for sharing? How do you think the story might have been different if Jesus and his disciples had made the people share their food, instead of them just willingly doing so? Well, that's the end of our story. I hope that you will share more of your love with the people around you today. Well, we sure miss you here at Unity of Austin. And as I close out, I want to close out with our blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you.